Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, declaration of quorum.
Dr. Matusik.
Here.
Mr. Lau.
Present.
Mr. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Present.
Mr. Tillman.
Here.
I'd like to welcome all visitors. Thank you for coming this evening. Happy to see you. Public comments. Was there a sign-in sheet up there? Anyone? No one signed in? Okay. No one's contacted me. Anyone contact you?
No, sir.
All right. Agenda item 3, election and appointment of officers. Agenda item 3.1, oath of office for me. I'm just pulling it up here. Okay.
Getting my alert for
You get, yeah. Okay. I, James Matusik, hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the duties of board member of Hennessey Public Schools to the best of my ability, and that I will faithfully discharge all of the duties pertaining to said office and obey the Constitution and laws of the United States and Oklahoma. Okay. Reorganization of board.
Do you have to vote on that?
No, there's no vote.
We just got to hold it.
It's already been voted.
So reorganizing the board, agenda item 4.1, president.
Nominate Luke Lau as president.
Second.
Move nomination cease.
Dr. Matusik.
Yes.
Mr. Lau.
Abstain.
Mr. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Tillman.
Yes.
How about I get out of this chair?
You're fine. You're fine.
You're the president, buddy.
Well, I wasn't going to make us all do music for chairs right in the middle.
That's what we did.
You got to sit at that table.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll sit over here.
Might want to sit at this. If I get clerk, be careful.
Yeah. Oh.
4.2. Vice President. I'll make a motion to elect Christopher Choate, Vice President of the Board of Education.
Second.
And move nomination cease.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mr. Griffin. Mr. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Narcissistic, right?
Mr. Tillman.
Been waiting for this for 5 years.
Dr. Matusik.
Yes.
4.3. Make a motion to elect Mr. David Tillman as
Second.
Clerk of the Board of Education.
Move nomination cease as well.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mr. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Of course.
Mr. Tillman.
Same.
Dr. Matusik.
Yes.
Okay, good idea.
Look at all the cool stuff I get in this seat.
New phone,
He's not
cup,
Patrick.
glasses.
Patrick will be glad he's not clerk when he sees that.
It doesn't have a smell.
Do we want to wait on a group photo until you adjourn, or?
Yes, we shouldn't be too long, I don't think. I think we're gonna wrap it up pretty quick.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Consent agenda. Consent agenda. Item number 5. 5.1, the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything that they would like to pull out to discuss in detail? Seeing none, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Mr. Lau.
Aye.
Mr. Choate.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Tillman.
Yes.
Dr. Matusik.
Yes.
Item 6. Six is regular business. Board to consider and take action on the employment of Stephen L. Smith Corporation as financial consultants to the school district for the fiscal year 2021-2022.
This Stephen Smith Corporation is the bond advisors that you guys signed off with whenever you started the whole process with the dome. And so we just through change of admin or whatever, just didn't hire them earlier in the year, so they have to officially be hired to handle the next 2 transactions that we're doing. So financial consultants, it's Timberly's still taking care of all the financials and everything like that. It's just strictly for the bond issue.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mr. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
Yes.
6.2, board to consider and take possible action in the absence of the president and/or clerk to appoint an acting president and/or clerk for the school district to execute any and all documents pertaining to setting the maturities date, time, and place of the bond sale.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that, I suppose?
No, since everyone's here, you want to do anything?
Okay. 6.3, board to consider and take action on a resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, and place for the sale of $1,580,000 taxable building bonds of this school district and designating bond counsel for the issuance of bonds.
So on the resolution for the notice of sale of bonds, or the recommended motion, excuse me, on the recommended motion, that sets the date as I emailed you on that May 16th at noon. 4 of you got back with me that you could be here, so more than a quorum. So whoever makes that motion, if you'll make sure you just read that verbatim to meet the legal requirements by Jordan Smith.
At that time?
Yeah, and it says it on there, as you open that.
Right. But I mean, tonight, say that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right now.
Okay.
If you'll open that recommended motion that's
Yep.
there.
Got it, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we need I'll make a motion to approve the resolution determining the maturities of and setting the sale of $1,580,000 taxable building bonds of this school district on May 16th, 2022 at 12 noon at the Eagle Event Center Conference Room, 605 East Oklahoma, Hennessey, Oklahoma, 73742, and designating Stephen Smith and Associates as bond counsel for the issuance of bonds.
Second.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mr. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
Could you read that again? Yes.
6.4, discussion and possible board action regarding proposed renovation quote for adjusting seating areas in the Eagle Event Center.
So I think I sent this to you a couple weeks ago to give you a chance to look this over. And like I said in that email, this had just come from last year even and this year as far as just kind of managing the crowd, trying to keep them off the court as much as possible when they come in on the north or on the south, the east or the southwest sides. Southeast more so just because that's where the players are. And so I have the one quote there that would, because the question was asked is, we have to walk upstairs, or some people that aren't physically able with bad knees or ankles, whatever it may be, they take the elevator up and then they're upstairs. But now we're gonna, if they want a chair back, they have to figure a way to get down the stairs. And so changing the top section to where it would match the bottom, where the outside would be bench seats, and then the 3 sections, I believe it's 3 sections inside, would be the chair back seats. So that, and their quote on that then was, what was it, 136, I believe.
132,204.
And then the other 2 is the removing of that front row and putting the rail up. And I know Mr. Griffin can speak firsthand on that from where he's at, and just what you see is people crowd control, but also player
Yeah, the issue with that was in the original design and then how it was implemented. The seating for the teams are too close to the floor, and in fact, where they sit is actually in straight line with the scorer's table, and all those people that are at the scorer's table that need to be able to see the entirety of the floor, the clock operator, the scorekeeper, the lowly PA announcers, they need to be able to see that. But we have the players and personnel actually closer to the floor, and is just poorly designed that way. And there's a way that can be drawn back on the east side. I don't know what, Brianna, Todd, your thoughts on the west side. I don't know that anything would need to be done on that. You guys spent some time over there postseason tournaments, but I think because of the seating for the teams personnel on the east side, if there was something that could be done to change that's where this originated.
And that was the one thing I heard. On the west side, it wasn't a big deal because the teams aren't out in chairs there, so people, it's not a big issue coming in or coming out, so.
So the three different prices, one for $49,576 is truncating the bleachers on the east side only.
Correct.
The 96, 124 is to do both sides the same way.
That is.
And then the third one of 132, 204, that is strictly, now is that a combination of the truncation and the chair backs?
That is, that 132 is strictly the east balcony. So if we wanted to go with the east side only, you would just take the 49 and the 132, which would come out to 181,780. If we wanted to just only do the east side first.
How is the floor access to those? I saw the temporary step in one of the rendering, but where does that access there's a step. It's not temporary. Portable step assembly is how.
That third file, it shows how that would be. So currently, you know, if somebody walks in, they're facing north, and then they have to turn and they can look right up the aisle. This, when they would walk in, that would fall right in line with a north-south ramp. So this
three-step that is pictured right there,
that is correct.
Is immediately closest to the south class.
And it just runs north-south, right in line with it.
And that fencing goes the entire length behind the players' bench and the scorer's table.
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
And we would be taking out one row to do that?
It would be one row, that is correct. And then that would still get, because we still have some that don't take the elevators and just want to sneak in real quick and sit right there on that front row, which we like.
Are we going to be losing any seating?
Yeah, but there was a deal in that seating.
What's the number, do you know? Because I know that was a big part of what we had a number we were shooting.
And that was brought up during the discussion one time of, do you have to have a certain amount to host regional or area? And it depends on, and I called Mr. Glover with OSA because he said he had visited with somebody from the school before. And at that time, yes. Since then, they've started doing so much more with the virtual or online sales that in-person attendance has actually dropped.
So they're not concerned as much?
So they're not near as concerned. Now, he said there may be a time that, you know, as they draw up the brackets and everything, that if they anticipate, you know, 4 different towns coming with bigger deals, then they may consider the chances of all of them getting there. And if, you know, we're sitting here at 1450 and somebody else is sitting there much larger, but, you know, this year our area's 80% at the most, would you say? That one time when Merritt was here, they brought a huge crowd.
Well, the night that Riverside.
Merritt and Riverside.
Riverside, Hooker, and Cashin were the three, because it was Riverside boys and girls.
And they traveled very well.
It was Hooker boys and girls, Riverside girls, and Cashin boys.
Yeah.
And that was the
probably.
And that was still, what would you guess? I mean, I know it's a rough guess, but.
I mean, except for this.
Except for the student section, there were a lot of people there. Like,
Yeah.
it was almost
It was
full,
almost
I
full.
thought.
Except for the student section.
And
So
like,
what's our
actually,
current
people had to
seating?
stay in the lobby.
Current seating, I believe,
18.
is right at 17.
17?
Uh-huh.
And we're losing what? How many did you say?
We're on one row of 4 sections?
We had counted it.
Over 100?
No.
Like 32? Or?
Oh.
No. It's like 46. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's not an issue for me.
So if we truncate the bleachers back and we add this portable step, that then are we going to allow people to come in that door, that southeast corner, so that they can access those stairs? Or are we still going to make them go up the elevator?
We strongly encourage everybody to go up the elevator, but when push comes to shove and somebody said, you know, we'd really like to go right here, we'd let it go there. It's just to keep that general traffic.
Well, and another thing, when we had to clear, you know, we have 2 sessions and you have to clear it. Didn't we clear it via the floor?
Yes.
And the second section.
When they're not playing in, we allow floor access for sure.
Right.
Volleyball, we allow them to come in that door all the time. It's just you know, it's just different, there's not as many people and.
But I think with that step up and, you know, I think it could be, at least people aren't, you know, walking in front of the player personnel.
It's safe to put it 132,000 new seats on the top if we don't have to. My thought.
So how many seats are we losing approximately on?
Well, I was looking at this, I thought the one schematic he had showed.
And just 45.
Yeah, I don't think it's
on the east side.
40 to 60 total if we just did one side.
Not a,
Not that.
No. Well, especially since, you know, we can do standing room only and whatnot along the,
Just the seats.
behind the
Is it the?
south goals.
The benches here or just the seats that we'll lose?
Just the seats.
I'm just thinking of other projects that we have on our to-do list and our wish list.
Sure. Now, one thing I will say that on this, that being a repair and replace, this is something that can come out of general fund. And, you know, I mean, we've been watching that gross production this past month. Gross production jumped about 160,000 from previous month because we got 403. That's about 3 months behind, and so 3 months ago is roughly when it started getting into that $90-100 tick. So I mean, I think the next 3 or 4 months are going to be pretty good there. Plus, the other thing that's allowed us to do some things is, just like the Chromebooks, we're purchasing that out of that ESSER money, so it's technically not like we're spending our money. So our general fund balance is as good as it's been in a long time. So now's the time to do it if you are, in spite of any reservations you may have on that.
Is it complete removal of the east lower section?
So I don't know how it's done, but it is not complete removal. So I do know that. Up top, the balcony, yes, because that has to be rebuilt to meet your rise and run and everything. So the bottom would be done this coming up. Maybe not time for volleyball, but time for basketball.
Well, now this says quoted for first quarter 2023 delivery and installation.
On the balcony.
Okay.
The balcony.
Yes.
Yes, the balcony. So this would lock in that price, and then they would set everything done to where they would start that project as soon as we allow them to come in after basketball season. That's right.
But the lower truncation could be done.
Could be done as soon as they get whatever their people in place, but he said it would be done by the start of basketball this year.
Do you feel like this helps some of our older patrons?
I do.
Handicapped patrons?
I do think that, and I think we need to, I don't want to, you know, you've seen a lot of places where they'll have a permanent chair and then spacings. I don't think we need to do that, but I think even on that running track, put up some of the folding chairs, the nicer ones, that way for somebody who is in a wheelchair, you know, somebody that's with them could sit beside them. And so I think we need to do that too, and that's an easy fix. But I think even still, all the others, from all the feedback I've heard, is come on up with the chair backs.
I know this is the thing we're considering right now, but like Mr. Lau said, other expenditures that might be coming up, you know, just staying in the Eagle Event Center, for our regionals and area tournament, what are some things that our facility lacked? It seemed like we didn't have any place to put the visiting video streamers. You know, they were kind of up in the walking track area. Was that fine? Is there something we could do to make that better?
Isn't that where they're intended to go?
I think that's where they go in most places. Most schools do not have a designated area for.
Well, and we had built that cut in between the two coaches' office for the purpose of having a multi-level video, radio, audio.
We've also talked. We've also talked. They've talked about adding another camera over on that side, and I know that Sportle has a new camera coming out that follows the action, which we may be able to add over there in that cutaway spot for us.
On the east side,
Yeah.
in that cutout, okay.
We talked about that. Yeah.
What about the West Side Scores table that I thought was ordered in October?
Yeah, they're
Is
having,
it,
they're having
is it
shipping
in a
issues.
ship in the
Because it's-
Suez Canal right now?
Because it's, they're having a hard time with their carrier. They said it's supposed to ship this week, so we'll see.
Whatever I want to go back to the discussion about a longer scores table, so we don't have 6 people, you know.
That's what
We've ordered a 12-foot for the other side.
And so part of the people sitting on the east will now sit on the west? You know, split the group?
Can, not the main people with the P that are assigned for the, you know, game itself, your timekeeper, PA, you know, they'll all be there. And to do that, you could order another 8-foot section and add on to it. This truncation would allow that now. Right now, there's steps.
Right.
Then so I think they're 14 feet apart, an 8-foot table, so you couldn't go that way. So we could, but I would recommend if we do that, just ordering a cheaper table, because the ones with the front on it, you know, those are around 23,000. So the one that I got that has never been delivered is around 3,500. So a lot cheaper, but you don't get it on one.
They have to completely dismantle the upper section, you put in the chair backs on the top.
Yeah, because just because of the way it's attached to the wood decking below.
I did have an older patron actually complain to me about a week ago about the seating.
That they wanted the chair back.
Something
So we
a
send
little
them
more
all the way up there, and all
Yeah.
they have are bench seats.
Yeah.
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 But if we give them access from the floor,
Well, we'd still like to try to keep them off of that, from the southeast door to that little, as much as possible. I mean, obviously, we're, just because it's still right there on the court side.
Jackie, a comment?
Well, Jason, you were talking about the balcony. Do you mean like where the student section is?
No, just on the straight east side.
Straight east
Oh,
side.
on the top.
They're calling that the
Along the
balcony
track.
even.
Okay, along the track.
Below the track,
Yeah.
actually.
Under the school.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
What, no, not on the scoreboard.
Oh, you're talking about,
No.
oh, you're just talking about.
Right there in between all the chairback seats and the coaches' offices, that area. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're talking baseline to baseline.
No,
Or we
the
just
two
doing the
ends
middle
just
section?
matching up just like it would on the bottom.
Okay.
They would be the bench seats, and I think that's 3 sections.
Mm-hmm.
The way that is just be those 3.
If you say the time is right, I don't think we need to do anything on the west side. And I think this is another thing with our lovely architects that, among other things in that building over there, that we need to,
I'd like to find him.
we need to help people out in the future that want to use that architecture firm.
That I wanted to add too on that, I don't know, I mean, it is a lot of money, especially after you've just taken possession and everything. The projects have listed that we've discussed, we're in good shape. I mean, we're going to talk about the facilities in a minute, but I'll just go ahead and throw it in now on that softball concession stand. We're getting ready to put it out for a sealed bid. We thought it would come in under the 50,000 amount, and so we just got a quote, but it didn't. So time, and otherwise we would have had it done by August, but time-wise we've got to put it out for sealed bid. But we're still in very good shape. Building funds around 575,000. That's probably going to come in 85 to no more than 100, no more than 100 whatsoever.
What type of people are you looking for? Just curious if I know anyone. I would love to send them in to bid it.
Yeah, well, the bids will come out. I mean, it's going to be a metal building.
Oh, it is a
Yeah,
metal.
it's a metal building, and then we've got tons of the cinder block left over from the baseball press box. So we're going to do a 3 or 4 foot wainscot on it just for people kicking it and, you know,
Should
whatever.
this be discussed in the superintendent's report?
Well, I mean, I'm just explaining the other stuff though. Don't let this project think that's going to keep us from another project, is basically what I'm getting at. Because everything we've had on tap to get discussed besides the drainage ditch on the east side between that and the school and I met with street.
Mitchell?
Mitchell. That's the only thing. So everything else we're in good shape to get done what we want to move forward with. Not all at once, but.
I'll move to approve the east main floor only per attached drawings, the description number 1 for $49,576, in addition to the east balcony new bleacher chair backs for $132,204 for a total of $181,780. in my motion.
Second.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mr. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Tillman,
Yes.
Dr. Matusek.
Yes.
New business.
No new business to act on.
Superintendent's report.
So talked about the concession stand track, they've mobilized the equipment. They're supposed to start either tomorrow or Wednesday on actually laying down the running surface to the track. Based on weather conditions, that will take 3 to 5 weeks, and then when they're done, then they call the painters to come in, and once they're able to get in, it takes a couple days to stripe the track. So getting mid-June, probably, when we're able to have the track done. So, and I've got press box being built for that. So they're just gonna build it at the shop and then install that later, and then we'll have Caleb come out and run some electricity. And then looking for, once again, some storage there where we can free up maybe some storage in that bus barn, or what is the storage area. Maybe buy some Connex or some shipping containers or something, and that way we can go back in on that side and make a hitting cage. That way boys and girls both have hitting cages. That's about the cheapest avenue I've seen of being able to do that. But I'm open to suggestions.
Well, it may be a bigger thing, but yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. Wrestling room on the west walls, and this is the old middle school gym, but the west walls and the north walls, 7 feet up, we've had that framed in. Coach Bennett talked with him today. He's going to get some quotes on wall mats, so those will be coming through. That's going to be around $7,000. Got to buy some additional mats, and then we had talked to earlier this year about an actual 42 by 42 competition mat. The 30 by 30 we have is not regulation, and technically you're not supposed to be able to host duels on it. And so visited with Coach Bennett today, and he actually asked, because if you've been to a good wrestling match, the smaller venues makes it exciting. And he's asking if maybe they could use the old gym, keep the mats over there and just roll it out, put a spotlight on there and everything else. So we'll cross that bridge. But for tournaments, we'd have to use the Eagle Event Center. But he said he likes the home field advantage, or for
People on top of each other.
for people on top of it, especially when there's more of us and just that loud crowd, yeah, right on top of you. So he brought that up today, but that's coming along well in the wrestling room, and so we're just waiting on him to get some quotes there. And then the west end of the high school, like if you were to come out of that southeast corner of the dome and shoot right across where you have the doors put in, you got the room. Miss Kern uses a lot of the one room for art. The other one is just junk, and there's old desks, there's stuff, and it's stuff that you could probably use, but you put it in auction and it's not worth the gas people come up, because when they buy desks for their kiddos, they don't want to buy used desks that are 15 years old. They want to buy their kids new desks. So we're going to clear all that surplus and clean that up. Just use that for additional space. We've got a couple ideas. I've been asked if it could be that weight room that's down in the basement where it floods. I've been asked, could you make it, do we need it for esports? Just 2 or 3 things. Do we need it as an extra resource room? So we're just going to get it cleaned up and have that done this summer. And then the other project coming up, that's a small project, but the only thing that has come across inside the building, so I don't know, I'm always talking to you about athletic events, but last year we did the flooring in the 2 special ed rooms on the north side. This year we're going to do them on the south side. Last year's around $10,000. This year is around $12,500. So that one was approved in there, but that'll be done. And so I think Mr. Crosswhite had another, trying to look at the roof. Is that right? What was that? There's a roof that needed to possibly be looked at. Or what was that?
Oh, we're talking about the outdoor classroom.
Outdoor classroom, yeah. I mean, another small classroom, but as we'll look at redoing, carpeting some classrooms and fixing up where we need to, but nothing major else has come across that is going to take a lot of planning. So I think we're in good shape. And that's all I have on facilities.
No resignations?
Resignations, I think if you click that, are they on there?
They are.
Okay, but I'll accept the resignations of Jenna Matusek, Patrick Courtney, Mackenzie Tucker, and Timberly
Yahadi.
Yahadi Herrera.
Luke
Yes.
knows how to say
I know
it.
how to say it.
Okay, Yahadi Herrera. take those resignations. Yeah, I didn't mean to scare you when I said Timberly, yeah. Sorry about that. She was I think she was more surprised than anybody.
All right, so personnel, possible discussion, possible board action regarding employment of the following certified positions on temporary contracts for the 2022-2023 school year. Middle school English language arts teacher. You want to do these one by one, or you want to do them in bulk?
We'll go through them in bulk, and if anybody wants to pull out one, we can. Just tell you about everybody first.
Middle school English language arts teacher.
That's Jennifer Sandoval. She has been doing that this semester. At the time, last month, the only reason we didn't hire her at the time is there was a situation she didn't know for sure if she's going to be able to come back, and she is, and we're glad to have her. So we'll be re-recommending her for that middle school language arts. I'm sorry. Do you want me to just go ahead? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Band director, very excited about this, and this is where it comes in with having Mr. Faulkner and his band experience.
Are you excited, or Mr. Faulkner?
Mr. Faulkner's excited because I did, how many meetings did I say that I've never had a principal band director before, but if you don't get somebody good in here, we're going to look at it. Well, immediately we had great applicants. The gentleman we're hiring has been at Sealing the last 10 years, and he was at Enid the 9 years before that. So I'll be recommending Daniel Powers to you for that position. For the high school teacher, that was listed as 2 positions, and that's kind of vague at this time because we don't know exactly what the teaching assignments were when we posted that. We've got a commitment of a young man named Matthew Locke. He's been at Cimarron Middle School there in Edmond. He is either going to take Mr. Courtney's computers class or an anticipated math vacancy that we anticipate getting a resignation tomorrow. But right now we can't make that call. Okay, so he's going to do open to do 3 sports. Right now, the only thing we have available for him is the assistant high school football position open. Anticipating more additional resignations, I'll come to you at a later date with assignments of other extra duty assignments for Mr. Locke. But very excited to get him. Also on one of the English, the teaching positions at the high school is English. We'll be taking Jenna Matusik's position on the high school English, and also the head volleyball coach, and that is Carrie Schwartz. Carrie is very knowledgeable also in basketball, and she's been doing this long enough. She's coached for spring sports. So she has not had a chance to visit with Courtney Marcus yet to kind of see what's going to be the best fit of where, so I don't have an assignment for the basketball at this point in time. Once they meet, then we'll figure out where we feel like where the best fit is with that 5th through 12th program. Is it multiple or whatever it may be? And there will more likely be a spring sport attached to that as well, but right now we're just not sure what it is. So, recap on middle school language arts, Jennifer Sandoval, band director Daniel Powers, high school teacher, which would probably be computers, and assistant high school football is Matthew Locke, and then high school English Carrie Schwartz, and then we have 2 third grade teachers. One of them has been doing her student teaching with us, Andrea Jimenez. We're very excited to get her. She takes one of the positions vacated by Miss Marcus, moving up to the high school. And the other one that I'd like to recommend to you is Caitlin Kramer. Wonderful kid. She's a Kingfisher graduate. She's been at over the last few years. But she's taken the position vacated by Miss Waltman in 3rd grade. So that's the 2 positions. So those are the 6 positions. Other positions that they'll be coming to you, we're really in pretty fortunate shape as I visit with other superintendents where they are. Next month, we're going to report to you on this careers program or the intern program. I talked to Mr. Faulkner about that today. We will know more what the CTTC enrollment is, and if we have openings for those kiddos that are currently going there. But also we'll know a lot more about how we're looking at our intern program. We've come across somebody that we will recommend next month. Very excited about, Hennessey grad, and actually has been involved with a program just like this, what we're wanting to do. And so we're very excited about that opportunity. And so we're making that recommendation. We just didn't have it was not on the agenda by the time she accepted the job, so therefore that's why it's not on there. The other position that we have open district-wide is the SRO position. So Aaron has trying to get me in contact with the gentleman in Enid Because it takes the right personality for an SRO in the schools, dealing with the kids pre-K through 12. And so he feels like there's one. It's just our schedules have not been able to coordinate that I've had a chance to meet him. But I'm assuming everybody wants to continue with the school resource officer position.
Is his name Dell?
I don't know.
I'll throw this computer at him.
And then, so what that leaves us with, as far as 2 openings, and they're both at the high school, is upper level science, and you know, the stack of applicants for that is just, you know, if you believe that, I got a bridge, I'll say. And then possibly algebra, based on resignations that we anticipate tomorrow, but not official at this time. Okay. So really in pretty good shape personnel-wise, except just a couple of that upper level science is just going to be very tough. So does everybody remember the 6 names I recommended?
My motion is going to be to approve employment of the previously mentioned certified teachers on temporary contracts for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved. Second. That was the motion.
Mr. Lau?
I thought you were reading the
Aye.
other again.
Mr. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?
Yes.
9.2, discussion and possible board action to increase certified after-school tutors and tutors for the Together con Éxito for the English Learner Grant to $30 per hour effective April 1, 2022.
This is that grant that we received on the ELL at Miss Sosa. And this will be taking place at the middle school. And so they had actually written in more than this, but we're currently paying less, and then once we get to our after school, we're going to have to match this to a certain extent and come up with something a little more equitable. But we have got to approve it on the $30 an hour for the ELL grant.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lau?
Aye.
Mr. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes.
Dr. Matusek?